I've never seen this promo before, so it really looks like we actually have a product. I think we kind of figured once every 25 years, you know, we'll kind of do some little thing.
You should do something, yeah. What I love about that, though, is it starts out with all those cards of all the movies, and you see Edward Scissorhands, and you see, you know, Big Fish, and all these kind of children you've hatched. Do you have any outstanding moments, favorites among those group of films, or moments that you think, oh, that was a really unique, you know, score. That particular movie really was something that represents me.
You know, it's hard to pick favorites. It's like favorite children or something. You know, there's moments in a lot of them. Listening back, I was just describing to somebody today. It's the first time I've listened to most of these scores since I wrote them. Yeah. Because I have like a bizarre thing. I never ever listen to anything I've ever written.
Really?
No, unless I have to. And so, in this situation, I had to, because I had to edit 16 CDs and put together all the material. So it was really interesting, because I was really hearing things that I haven't heard in ages.
Did you like them?
Oh yeah, you know,
good. Okay, good.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I forgotten a lot of things I've done.
Yeah, because when I listen to Scissorhands, and that choral score that you created is, to me, so iconic and beautiful and.
Well, I mean, Edward would be one of my favorites for sure. I mean, there are a few films that we did here and there where everybody kind of really left us alone and no one really knew we were doing them.
Yeah.
And Edward would be one of those. It's just kind of like Beetlejuice was like that too. It's kind of like it was so under the radar. And you know, but there's bits and pieces listening. There's moments in Big Fish. I was like, oh yeah, I really like that. And
I love that score.
In certainly Nightmare Before Christmas, you know, will always go down as one of my favorite experiences. Thank you. I mean, because writing the songs with Tim was really the quickest, easiest thing I've ever done. You know, usually there's so much struggle to write everything, but you know, Tim and I sitting together, I did all the songs in 30 days with him, just telling me the story a little bit at a time.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he'd come over every 3 days and tell me a little more of the story, and I'd like stop him and go and write a song, and come back 3 days later and I'd already play him like a demo of the song.
I've heard that some of those demos are going to be on the...
All the demos are...
all the demos are on it?
Yeah.
So...
well, I don't know, a bunch.
A lot of them.
Let's say a bunch. Yeah.
And what's that like, kind of revisiting those? Because what are those like? Are those just rough sketches of you at the piano, or what are they usually?
No, I mean, I would always do like little kind of orchestral mock-ups. And the scary thing about this is, you know, you've got my demos going. The first one is actually for Batman, because on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I was literally pounding it out on the piano. Mm-hmm. And by the time I got to Beetlejuice, I was starting to do like kind of a crude little demo.
Right.
And I think there is actually one for Beetlejuice. By the time I got to Nightmare, I was doing orchestral mock-ups. They just sound really cheesy. The orchestra sounds. That was the most horrible thing for me, was listening to my orchestral mock-up for Batman. Right. Is truly a horrendous audio experience. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm hoping that it's interesting for some, but for me it was kind of like, you know, having my intestines pulled out or something. By a wheel very slowly.
Which is always pleasant.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
And some people like that.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, it was like, you know, they're really cheesy sounds for these demos. But a lot of the vocals for the demos on Nightmare ended up in the final vocals of the movie, because the way Tim and I went into a studio one night and we decided we'll cut all the vocals for every song but Sally's song. And I did all the parts, I had all the background voice, and I did all of Jack's parts. And these were like the first official round of demos. And of course I had to bring in a singer to sing Sally, because I just couldn't sing Sally's song. I think there's something in there. And so later, a year later, we're in the studio doing the vocals for real. And I cut all the other vocals, and every now and then I'm doing these vocals, I'm doing Jack, you know, 2, 3, 4 times. He goes, can you play the demo? And I play this. I still like that verse better. I still like that chorus better. And I would say half of those demos ended up in the final Jack vocals.
Really? So what we're going to hear tonight, half of them are demos?
Yeah. Because, cool. You know, there is something about a first performance when it's spontaneous that, you know, I kind of knew this from the Oingo Boingo days. I mean, sometimes, you know, your very first thing you do, you can't top. And I'd listen to it with Tim, and I'd go, yeah, you're right. I don't know why. It's just kind of that line or that verse, that part there. It just kind of sounds better. So.
Yeah, there's a freshness to it. There's a clip actually that about a month ago, you and Tim sat down in London and recorded an interview about all of your work together. And I have a clip from that tonight talking just about that, about the spontaneity of working on Nightmare together and how quickly the songs, I think, came to you. Let's take a look at that clip.
Oh dear.